The Marvels is in trouble as its box office keeps getting revised down. Not only did it start at 90, it got moved down to 75 million, 50% lower than the first movie. And now there's reports that it might come in as low as 50 million for its opening weekend. And when you've spent over $270 million to make the movie, that isn't good. This meant that Disney Marvel had to change something. They had to pull out the big guns when it came to marketing, and it wasn't going to come from the actors. Not just because of who the actors are.
I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time.
But because the actors are still on strike doing, Hollywood things.
We're just out here to be with our comrades.
Yes, congratulations, comrade.
We're union strong, and we're not gonna go away.
Don't you threaten me. Besides, you're an actor not working, standing on a street corner. You've already gone away. You'd actually be more noticeable to the general public if you were serving in McDonald's.
People have girded their loins a bit.
Maybe he's talking about the Marvels after all, but without such incredible marketing from people standing on a street corner. The incredibly talented diversity hires at Disney knew what they had to do because they know what their new customer base likes, and apparently, it's this. I've got to be honest, this is one of the creepiest marketing strategies I've ever seen. Sure, the music saves it a little bit, but you can very easily dub over that and you'll see what I mean. Although I have to say it's a refreshing change to see Nick Fury surrounded by pussies rather than being one. Now, this is from a Cat Cafe live stream that lasted for 8 hours directly on the Marvel Entertainment main channel. How on earth do you do a live stream with cats for 8 hours, I hear you ask? Well, it turns out you end up with some very, very weird footage. There is a whole range of stuff on display here. Not only was there an incredibly base cat who just said, F your merch. Nobody wants to see your Funko Pops. I'm the main person on display here. But you also have a woman who probably should have girded her loins a little bit more. You're supposed to be trying to sell these things, and all it seems to be doing is scaring cats with a massive pair of trousers in the background. And if anyone thought these cats would replace the actors, you've got that entirely wrong. If anything, this is the first stream I've ever felt where Disney truly represented my feelings about the Marvels. And the less said about whatever this is, the better. No wonder you can hear people pissing themselves laughing in the background. Put yourself in her shoes, you finally get a role in the MCU and it's this. But as I'm going through and watching it, I just keep thinking I'm too sober for this. And yet, I can't blame them. At least they're trying something new, and at least they're trying to replace the actors, because I've seen what the actors are like.
And there's a term being thrown around, we have not come this far to only come this far.
I mean, you can see how bad actors are at marketing something just by watching how they're marketing their own strike. If you made me choose between whatever that is and a load of cats, quite frankly, I'll take the cats myself.
The deal that we deserve and the deal that we demand.
Why don't you turn around and tell the peasants in the back to shut your mouth when I'm on camera? Nobody could hear you even if they were trying to care. I mean, they wouldn't manage it, but you know, they could try. And if anything needs the better marketing right now, it's the Marvels, because their production was awful as it was. Attracted underwhelming test screenings and suffered from long reshoots. These reshoots went on for 4 weeks just to bring coherence to a tangled storyline. If you write a book, sure, you could change the odd thing to explain it better to the audience, but if you're having to rewrite random sections of the book just to make it coherent, then your problems might be a bit more fundamental, and I don't know who could be to blame for that.
I'm not about to let a man take credit for a woman's work.
I mean, it just goes to show how much the creators cared about this movie, when it's still going through post-production and the director just decides to piss off. A source told Variety, if you're directing a $250 million movie, it's kind of weird for the director to leave with a few months to go. But this is what you get when you don't hire people for talent and instead various other characteristics. You never hired them because they produce quality work in the first place. You didn't hire them because they'll go above and beyond for a product. No, you didn't care about their work ethic, and so now you just got what you deserved. Someone who didn't even care enough about the movie to finish it. I suppose they already got paid, so might as well move on to work on the next thing, where I can get paid again. Because why would you stay? It's not as if it's going to harm your future career. That's not what people in Hollywood think is important anymore.
Los pues.
Every last one of us.
But you're not all boys.
So?
And these kind of hiring practices have long-term effects on your entire company. It's got so bad that even Variety is coming out and going, is Marvel in trouble? Everyone at Marvel is reeling from a series of disappointments on screen, but apparently don't want to do anything to change it. Oh sure, we'll pretend that we're thinking about it, but won't actually consider the only thing that would actually fix it. Changing who we hire. No, we think the problem is instead that we were just pumping out a lot of content, and because of that, the quality is harder to maintain. They seem to think that the real problem with everything is actually more along the lines of half-baked scripts or VFX issues. No, the problem isn't that scripts are half-baked, it's that the people writing the scripts physically can't make a good product. It doesn't matter if you gave them 15 years to write something. It'll always be crap because they don't share the worldview of their audience, nor do they value what is important. That's how you end up doing cat live streams to advertise your movie. Because you've hired a load of people where the only thing in existence is them, their worldview, and their experience. And you know what they like? Cats. And the idea that they're stronger than men could easily beat them up and that really men should just cower in the background and let me take charge. That's what they want in their career, that's what they fantasize about, and so that's what they make movies about. Regardless of the fact that the people that they're denigrating are actually the audience. The problem isn't that you made too much content, the problem is that the people making your content aren't fit for purpose. And that Hollywood has become such a little bubble that to fix the problem, you would have to leave.
Okay, I'm gonna disable the pressure valve. Too late. Wait, no!
But no, it couldn't be the staff. We couldn't take responsibility for our own actions. No, instead, we simply had too much of a good thing and produced so much stuff we struggled to make it fit together. The movies, the platforms, it had a muddled narrative just because there were too many, and that baffled viewers. The real problem is that the viewers couldn't understand what we were doing. Maybe we could have explained it a bit better. You know, even the article can't comprehend or wouldn't dare suggest that the content itself is fundamentally flawed. No, if only we just framed it a little bit better, spun it a little bit better, made the audience understand. And the content itself was great. And it's this dissociation of the press, the people who daren't say the truth. Even in this article, which is actually going through the problems, at no point will they call it how it is, despite the fact that people behind the scenes seem to know the pile of crap that they've got in front of them, when the Marvels normally gets feedback from Disney employees and their friends and family, took the uncharacteristic step of holding a public test screening in Texas. The audience gave the film middling reviews. Middling. Even now, trying to put a positive step on it, maybe rounding up. It's like listening to a dodgy car salesman or an estate agent. Yes, that house isn't small, it's cozy. It's not on fire, it's just particularly warm this time of year. The audience weren't bored to tears, it was middling. But Marvel has never been in the business of being average, I will give them that. They're in the business of being trash.
I take responsibility.
As they have systematically and extremely progressively gone through all their entertainment removing masculinity as an idea, it keeps getting worse. It's almost like the quality of a movie is directly proportional to how masculine it is. Strange how that works when that not only appeals to 99.9% of the entire world, but that's also the fundamental values of being a superhero. But no, if you want to know the real problem with Marvel's, Kevin's superpower, his genius, has always been in post-production. He's just spread too thin now, yeah. If only Kevin Feige could actually focus on one product at a time, it'd be amazing. I mean, this guy is a creative genius. He's been constantly pumping out crap for years. But don't worry, just trust him, he's actually doing too much, that's why everything he makes is awful. It's not because everything he makes is awful. No, he just can't concentrate it enough to fix all the other terrible people that we've hired. I'm not sure that this is much of an excuse, even if it was true.
Just sickened me to my stomach.
You should be hiring people within your company that know how to make a decent product on their own, even if Kevin Feige did have any talent. Which, considering I think you're only as good as your current work, he doesn't. And the reason that Ant-Man was trash was actually down to the Marvels itself. I mean, we had a schedule swap, so we just didn't have enough time. That meant that post-production schedule was off. The movie was unfinished, that's why the CGI was bad. CGI wasn't the reason why Quantumania was trash. Because if there's one thing that you understand from this article, everybody is blaming everybody but the people in the business. If the Marvels is awful, these are the people to blame.
You're pure evil.
Just taking credit for a woman's work.
It's the writers and the directors and the people who make up the plot. It's got nothing to do with the VFX artists. Whether graphics are good or bad, it doesn't actually affect the movie. It's something that people point and laugh at, but it won't destroy your entire entertainment. Maybe it might if you're really young and have only ever seen modern movies. But if you've watched any kind of classic TV, it still holds up despite the bad graphics, because nobody cares about graphics when it's actually a good piece of entertainment. But that needs good people.
Are you using me as bait? Way to set feminism back a few decades.
You can push back the Marvels as much as you want, you'll never fix it, because the one thing you're not doing is changing the people making the thing. But no one realizes it. I mean, Bob Iger was apoplectic about Marvel's VFX troubles. They don't even understand the core reason of why you're failing. After Quantumania, the guillotine fell on Victoria Alonso, who oversaw the production, post-production, VFX and animation. A fall guy to take the pressure off the people who actually made the thing. And look, when she got fired, I looked into Victoria Alonso's interviews. I'd agree the company's better off with her out of the company. And don't come back, but at least take everybody else with you. Because even when the article does consider that maybe actually is an oversight in script development, I still like it as maybe the problem's oversight, maybe we just need more management, maybe if only there's some overarching force which can look at this stuff and maybe fix it. It's like, no, it's rotten at the core because of the people that are writing the scripts in the first place. It's rotten because of the values that the scriptwriters have. It doesn't matter how much oversight you have, you can't fix it because the people are fundamentally incapable of doing the job. And yet, oh, well, the real problem was that there was a lack of script development. A flashback occurred in the wrong place. They wanted it moved up to the finals, which meant that the VFX team wasn't finished.
Often said that Marvel movies all end the same way, following some unwritten rule that you have to throw a bunch of plot.
It wasn't a problem that the script was awful. It wasn't a problem that everything about that movie was hateful, attacked the fans, and should have never seen the light of day. It doesn't matter that the people that made that thing should never work in the industry again, because how dare you make something like that so offensive to your customer base in the first place? It doesn't matter that it was entirely unprofessional. No, the problem was that the VFX weren't ready for the pilot. Literally incapable of understanding what the problem is, because it must be everything else except the people in charge. Because it must be everything else than the corporate culture that hires these people in the first place. Because to fix this thing, we would have to entirely change our worldview, and fixing this issue would mean acknowledging that we've spent years on the wrong side of history.
Really wish that we could get it to you guys, but we need to stand on the right side of history.
Yeah, the VFX issues we see is down to half-baked scripts, which is because of Kevin. No, it isn't. It's because of the scriptwriters. They're the ones half-baking them in the first place. And even if they were fully baked under Kevin's leadership, they'd still be awful.
There's a hot chick over there. I'm gonna go talk to it.
Case in point, the Blade reboot. The project has gone through 5 writers, 2 directors, and 1 shutdown 6 weeks before production. At one point, the story morphed into a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons. Blade was relegated to the 4th lead. A bizarre idea considering the studio had an Oscar winner on board. No, it was a bizarre idea because Blade was the 4th person in his own pissing movie. But he went like that because he's a man. Masculinity had to be eradicated from Marvel.
Sorry, I'm sad and lonely.
That's why it is impossible to make a movie where this is entertaining and appeals to your audience. That's why no one cares about your hallucinogenic cats. Because nobody cares about a narrative led by women filled with life lessons, because, let's face it, what are they gonna learn?
The boy's magic.
No, this magic belongs to no boy.
Look, if I need advice about whether I should separate my towels from my jeans when I put them in the washing machine, then I'm sure I'd find it an incredibly useful movie. But for entertainment, I think I'll stick to John Wick punching someone in the face. Writing the Marvel obituary would be ill-advised. And why does he think this? Well, it's because of Kevin Feige. Once again, praise the management can fix all. It doesn't matter who we hire, it doesn't matter who the directors are, it doesn't matter who we get to write them. Don't worry, management will be able to fix it. There is a problem in a lot of corporate culture that a company can get too big to succeed. There's too many people in the line of creation to hold anyone particularly accountable, and so despite producing constant trash, nobody is ever fired for it.
I'm an American! I'm an American!
Rather than tracking everyone across products, instead we just go off opinions. Oh, Kevin Feige's amazing! Despite the fact that he's produced all of the constant trash. And so people survive in the company based off popularity rather than talent or production or the last thing they made. The one thing that you should do in the entertainment industry. Pander to the audience. South Park did an episode recently about the Pandaverse. But the issue isn't really pandering itself, is that you're pandering to the wrong people. You're not pandering to your customers, because at the end of the day, pandering to your customers is simply giving them what they want. Disney doesn't work that way. It doesn't give the customers what they want. The staff make the shows that they want to make. That's not how entertainment works. In entertainment, you track trends, double down on what's succeeding, and this isn't succeeding. And you have to be really careful who you listen to, because the access media, they will crawl so far up your backside, you won't know where they end and you begin. No matter how many failures you have, they will still make up nonsense about it. It may not be due to superhero fatigue. It isn't. It's because it's ass. No, this isn't that the movie is awful, or that people watched the original Captain Marvel and thought, I don't want any more of that, thanks. No, it's simply that it's been delayed too long. And that the brand just isn't one of the strongest in the first place. Can't be that nobody likes the pissing movie. I had no idea who Iron Man was until the Iron Man movie. I'd never heard of Captain America until the Captain America movie. I've never made any secret that I'm a complete normie when it comes to all of this stuff. I wouldn't care how strong the Marvel's brand was when it came to comic books, and nor would most of the audience, because they'd never heard of these people in the first place. What matters to them is the quality of the movie, and if we've learned anything from the production, the quality isn't very high. But no, it couldn't possibly be a problem with the fundamentals of the movie or the people making it. It's just that Carol Danvers, she hasn't really had enough development to actually make people interested in her. It's not because she's boring. If only we'd shoved her in your face even more, she'd definitely be successful now. With now people coming out and going, Snow White was delayed over fears it will be a financial disaster and flop like Cats. Brie Larson's got something to say about Cats.
Cats! They're adorable, but you know what they're missing? Boobs.
And it's because the controversy continues, and they're desperately hoping that by delaying it a year, that will have died down, as everyone gets used to the idea that people in Hollywood are just insufferable bints. I mean, we could not hire the insufferable bints. That is an option. We could instead hire, adults, people who won't attack the fans or the source material and have the intellectual capacity to understand that they are completely irrelevant. That when you're in the entertainment business, what you actually are is a jester. That no matter how much money you make or the cheering and the clapping when you walk down that red carpet, your ego should always be on the floor. Because you are the fool who goes up on stage and performs for whatever they want. That all you do is lie on camera for a living. And the very reason you exist in any of these movies is as a servant to the audience. You're not there to clap back.
You do not get to choose.
It's my show.
You're not there to make She-Hulk episodes about how the fans are the problem or come out and attack them.
They decide whether to share or to shaft.
And none of them care what your opinion is of their opinion. Nobody cares who you think should be reviewing your work.
I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time.
Because you don't get to determine your audience, nor do you get to change their audience. You just exist to serve them and provide them what they want. And that is the fundamental idea that could fix Hollywood. So far, they've been trying to engineer the entire industry top down. They come out with standards and guidelines of who you can hire, what your stories can be about. And that then gets enforced through all of the companies and becomes a standard across the entire industry, which is how you sync an entire industry. Because entertainment has never been top down. There's a lot of talk about the artistic vision and how I must be allowed to do exactly what I want because otherwise it won't be my art. And that's the exact same attitude that made the stereotype of the starving artist. Because you can follow that vision all you want, but it's not a business. It's not a profit-making business. And the artists that will be successful under that industry are the ones that would coincidentally align with the audience. What you end up with is survivorship bias of the artists who happen to agree with the audience. And that can make you think that you can engineer it to put anyone in their place. But you can't, because people aren't the same. All ideas and artistic visions aren't equal, because the audience is fixed. They know what they want, and they will tell you. And you can listen to that, or you can end up in trouble, and you'll have absolutely no idea how you can fix it, because the people that you crowbarred into positions that they weren't qualified for will only know how to double down on what got them promoted in the first place. And that is how you kill an industry. It's how you kill a company, and it's most certainly how you kill a movie. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.